And when I came back out, there was a guy standing about 10 feet away with a very long gun. And he said to me, lie here. So I complied.
But when you got questions from a delirious insurrectionist who was saying, when are you going to start shooting the hostages? Even those who were in charge didn't want that language.
I was just there doing a job that I loved, and within seconds I was running for my life, jumping over rooftops, and not knowing the hell why.
They were among the hostages, and one escaped even after being shot. So join us this Sunday from 6:15 p.m. on I-95.5 FM and live on the Eye on Dependency Facebook page as we revisit a time in our history that should never be repeated. Tell someone.
This is Eye on Dependency with Garth and Natasha. Sundays at 6:15 p.m. on the most influential name in radio, I-95.5 FM.
Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago, and welcome to Dependency, right here on 95.5 FM and live on the Dependency's Facebook page. Good evening, Natasha.
Good evening, Garth, and good evening, Trinidad and Tobago.
And Chris here with us as well, as usual, and we thank you for being here for us to do this part 3 of this very important time in our nation's history. And we, again, want to thank all those who would have provided the time and for giving us the opportunity to record their memory or their thoughts on what happened on that evening. This evening, Natasha, we will hear from some media workers, some of which their stories you may have heard before, but others maybe not. We'll hear from Sookram Ali, also known as the Ultimate Selector, who was at Radio Trinidad. Correct.
We'll hear from Edison Carr, noted broadcaster again. He was at Radio Trinidad as well. We will hear from Emmett Hennessey, who was at Radio Trinidad and escaped being held hostage but was shot in the attempt. And
this interview is courtesy Mr. Vernon Ramasa.
Yes.
Well, we have to give them credit for it, because when I spoke with Mr. Hennessey, and you'll hear it in his voice, he really still have very bad memories of that day.
Yeah.
And remember, he was shot too as well. So it was a double whammy for him. And so he directed us to online where his interview was, and we found it. And so we'll share that with you this evening, of course, giving the relevant people who interviewed him the credit on the station, TV station.
Indeed. And finally, Jones P. Madera, who you heard on our 1970 series. Well, he was a key player at TTT. At the time, he was the News and Current Affairs head of that department, and he had a key role to play. But his telling of this story is a little different. It's not just a ball by ball in terms of what happened, because I think we are well aware of that, but more an analysis of and context of what was taking place in the country on that day and how the media was reporting it.
Yes, and many thanks to the Knowledge Library and Information System Authority for providing scanned images from Trinidad and Tobago on the siege, the Muslim uprising, 6 Days of Terror by the Trinidad Express newspaper. And this was copyrighted in 1990. We thank Ms. Charmaine Glasgow, of course, Acting Director of Heritage Library Division, Cheryl Commoner Batiste, Acting Director, Public Libraries Division, and also Peter Green, Information Resources Librarian 5, and Keon Osborne, Computer Technician, and of course Sister Karawanda Dagger. All of them coming together at the last minute and providing us with some very good images for you. And hoping to get one of those magazines to buy. I've been on the hunt for it for a very long time. But that's another story, because we want to get into this quickly. And then I have something very provocative after we show the pictures and so on. I have to throw into this mix here this evening. Something I think might make you think again about this entire situation that happened to Trinidad and Tobago. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Of course, we're going to hear from, in the beginning, a reminder of what happened. We'll hear from the Imam first, of course, kicking off this evening, with the introduction to then Mr. Sookram Ali, who was he was a DJ at the time, and he had some interesting things to deal with, and he handled it pretty well. He was cool and, of course, not accustomed to being under the gun. They all managed this well, and we hope that at some point in time they will get the compensation that they deserve for this harrowing experience, you know, at the Red House and those who are at the Red House and so on. And then we have other people with testimonies that will blow your mind too as well later on, you know, as the series gets close to a close. So, Natasha?
Yeah, so we could start with that short video featuring the Imam, and then we'll start our series with Sookram Ali.
And remember, you can join us live on Dependency's Facebook page so that you can see the images and go through the journey with us and these people as well. All right, so let's go to Mr. Sookram Ali.
At 6 p.m. this afternoon, the government of Trinidad and Tobago was overthrown. The Prime Minister and members of the cabinet are under arrest. We are asking everybody to remain calm. The revolutionary forces are commanded to control the streets.
The treason.
Where is the Prime Minister tonight to address the nation? Where is he? God has removed him. God has removed the authority, not the power, because no man, including myself, has any power. We have only temporary authority because we all die.
My name is Sookram Ali. On radio, I had to become the ultimate selector. On Friday, 27 July 1990, I was on duty at Radio Trinidad, Trinidad Broadcasting Company Limited, at Marble Road, Port of Spain, at about 5:30 p.m. It was a Friday. Some young men stormed the radio station. I, along with 12 other employees who were in the building on duty. I had just finished working in the live studio and was recording in two of our production studios at the same time, Studio 3 and Studio 2. I was doing a job in Studio 3 and I walked towards Studio 2. From the entrance of Studio 2, you can see the parking lot over the head of the guard. Because at Radio Trinidad, at about 5:30, we will close the official entrance and use the overnight and weekend entrance, which is on the south of the first floor. When I was about to walk in Studio 2, I saw a group of young men jogging towards the back of the building. It was nothing new, nothing different, because a lot of people normally use the car park behind tractor elevator for exercising purposes. I went in to Studio 2 just to see what was there. And when I came back out, there was a guy standing about 10 feet away with a very long gun. And he said to me, "Lie here." So I complied. And I lied right next to one of my colleagues, Darwin Watson. Darwin whispered to me, "What is going on?" And I said, "I don't know." There were 12 of us at the building. Emmett Hennessey was walking down the front step from the administrative section, where he saw some guys try to break into the front door with guns. So he ran up the stairs, ran to the third floor, and went down the fire exit. By that time, they had succeeded in coming to the building and they ran behind him. And when he was going down the fire escape, they fired a shot at him that hit him on one of his legs. He continued running, jumped from the building to the ground, and then scaled the fence, and he escaped. Pius Mason was right at the front door talking to the security, Darren Watson. When they came in, one of the guys told Fires, stand against the wall, put up your hands. The other one said, lie down here. And Fires was trying to push the guy, so he wasn't sure which instruction to follow. So he tried to do both. And one of the guys, he seemed to be aggressive, and they shot him with his lower abdomen, and he was bleeding. The other people in the building were Harold Thompson, Steve Sutherland, Edison Carr, Arthur Green, Patrick Goodrich, Darwin Watson, Michael London, Cheryl Haywood, McDonald Holder, and Sookram Ali. Pius was taken to the hospital, and the 10 of us stayed. Cheryl went with him, and they told Cheryl, but they know your husband Mark is here, so make sure you come back. And she did come back, which is an amazing story also. Pius was taken to the hospital. Emmett made his way to the hospital. The 10 of us stayed there for 4 nights and 3 days. The configuration of the building that time is that we had a mobile studio, which we used to do live broadcasts from the malls and different places. And at that time, it was being used to do live broadcasts on 9-5. So as soon as we enter the lobby in the overnight entrance, there was the mobile studio, then the security guards. So I was instructed on the security guard Watson to lie next to the 9-5 mobile studio. Shortly after, within a few minutes, we were led by another young man with guns. Further inside the building, where some other employees were already gathered, and we were told to sit right outside Studio 3, which is also outside Studio 4. At that time, there were probably about 6 of us, and the others were asking what is going on, and nobody seemed to know. One of the guys said, the taxi for 3 miles was the last show. About 2 minutes after, he was then led down the stairs right in front of the library and into newsroom control room. There was a small room where we had a telephone, receiving lines, and a whole set of equipment where the newsroom would conduct interviews and record it and so on. So we were all sitting there, and then they brought in about 4 more. Edison Carr came in, and he was seated right next to me on the floor. And Edison Carr whispered to me that police headquarters is on fire. Because apparently while all this was going on, Edison was in the newsroom and he got a report that police headquarters was on fire. And he was organizing himself to go down to see what's happening. So Harold next to me, hearing Edison saying something, asked me what he said. And I said, Coup, police headquarters was on fire. Then I realized it wasn't us alone. My first thought, maybe somebody said something on air and somebody was displeased, so they came to do something, but they don't have to do that. We just waited to see what was happening. So from there, we stayed there for a couple of hours in the news center, all 10 of us. And we were guarded by a guy in his 40s who was talking to us, saying he was from Belmont. And he asked each of us to state our name and religion. So we started from the side. I was more or less in the middle of the room. So they had about 5 before they got to me. When they came to me, Roman Catholic. And the guy started off on a lecture there. Said, Sookram Ali, that's the worst thing, and he kept on carrying on there. Well, after a while, I said, that's it. But he went on over 20 minutes talking about that. Right? And afterwards, he continued with that. So we were just sitting there. Everybody was calm. We were all calm, and we asked there. And then another group came and they said, we need to put back all the radio stations on the air. Apparently, when they came, they went into central control and they unjacked everything and they put the truck because they needed everything off here. So they said, who is the most recognizable people to do that? And among the group, they said, well, Patrick Goodrich was the most senior person to operate the central control. Edison Carr was the most recognizable voice among us. So Patrick will go into central control, Edison will be the voice, and they all said Sookram Ali is the one who knows all about different types of music and knows all about all the equipment, so he should be that person. So I said that we need to go and get whatever music you require from the library, because we don't really keep all the music in the live studio. So they said, right, we're going to the library. I said, well, our leader is not going to help me with that, because it's all over. They said, who will do this? I said, Harold. Thompson and I went into the library. They had the door ajar and he stood outside on the corridor looking at us. How that library was at that time is that I saw the entry library, all the local music was on the lower shelves to your right, and the Caribbean and international music were on a larger set against the wall to your left. The instructor said he wanted us to go back on air and play conscious music, revolutionary music, and make certain announcements. So I went and I pulled out all these Stalin and Valentino and all the conscious music. And I told the guys that I will have to go up the ladder to get the Bob Marley and that kind of music. The problem is that because if I go up the ladder, so the line is tied through a glass window in the back of the library, and it will be open view because they will shoot in this place outside. So Harold looked at that and said, how are you going to find that Bob Marley? I said, well, you see. So after I pulled out enough, I looked at me, I told the guy, right up the ladder now. And Harold was at that point a little shaky, wondering what will happen because sometimes it takes a while to find things. It so happened that I put the ladder, I went up, and I pulled out the Bob Marley Legend album. From memory, I just figured it was somewhere around there, I put it out. After today, I put it amazed about that. Right? So she went back into the studio, and Jack and Patrick Goodrich put them back on it, and I just played revolutionary music. Every now and then, they will ask Edison to say something, and they'll get them what to say, and he'll come in and say. But in the studio, I monitored BBC, I monitored 100 was still there. So apparently, when they were approaching 100, they barricaded the door so they couldn't get in the building and they stayed on air. So I have an idea what's happening, and from that I realized that it is a national coup and what was really happening. For the next 3 days and 4 nights, I played revolutionary music.
So that was Sookram Ali, Ultimate Selector, relaying his experience at Radio Trinidad on that fateful day and few days that they spent as hostages in Radio Trinidad. And I must apologize, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, for the absence of the special effects and the, we like to make these things sound. Unfortunately, I was the one responsible for making sure that we had the right track to play for you, but I erred severely by not including those tracks on the flash drive this evening. So my apologies. We will have to do a makeup session for them, God, so that they can hear the all of the work that we both put into making these interviews sound more professional than they do. So I apologize.
Folks, it's not normal that I like to again, just walk past these issues. And as Natasha said, I humbly apologize too for not, I just hope that you're hearing Miss Wheeler was telling me she was hardly hearing Sookram. So I hope that, the other tracks that we have for you, at least with all these special effects and all of that, at least you will hear what these gentlemen have to say. As Natasha said, in doing our summary, we would have to replay them again. All right? But trust me, a lot of hard work went into all of them, and I'm sorry that you couldn't enjoy that part. So what we'll do, take a quick break, and when we return, we'll return with Mr. Edison Carr, and you'll hear his version of what he experienced at TTT that day. Radio Trinidad. We'll be back.
This is reality radio at its best. Eye on Dependency on I-95.5 FM.
Go sona, I come in. Go sona, I come in. And don't give me no attitude there.
You have sheer manners, boy. I wish I had your touch, boy.
You have to groom them. First, you have to target them. Scope them out. See if they have low self-esteem. Family problems, Then you move in and gain the trust.
I like your glasses.
After that, you feel a need. Some of them like nice things like fancy phones, hairdos, clothes, food. It have ones who only looking for somebody to care and listen to the problems. So you feel me? What's important though, you have to isolate them from the people. Let them believe it's all about you and them.
I care about you.
Then you get through.
Nice.
Look one right here. Try thing now.
A message from the counter-trafficking unit of the Ministry of National Security.
Give me my phone. What are you doing taking them kind of pictures? I'll tell Mommy.
And I'll tell her you invaded my privacy.
Privacy? When you send those pics, you lose all privacy. It's like setting up a billboard with your naked pics for the world to see.
Those pictures are for my boyfriend's eyes only, and he'll never do that to me.
Yes, he can, or one of his friends or family. Or someone can steal his phone. Sending naked pics can open you up to embarrassment for you, your family, and friends. You can be harassed by bullies. Your pics can be uploaded to websites and seen by everybody, even the wrong people, sex offenders. It can also affect you getting a good job in the future. Once those pictures go out, you can never get them back.
Okay, I'll tell my boyfriend to delete them, and I'll delete these. I'm glad I have a smart little sister.
I'm still telling Mommy.
You are listening to Eye on Dependency with Garth and Natasha on I-95.5 FM, Trinidad and Tobago. Don't traffic drugs. It's not worth it.
Basic protective measures against the new coronavirus. Stay aware of the latest information on the COVID-19 outbreak. Most people who become infected experience mild illness and recover, but it can be more severe for others. Take care of your health and protect others by doing the following. Maintain at least 1 meter, 3 feet, distance between yourself and anyone who is coughing or sneezing. Why? When someone coughs or sneezes, they spray small liquid droplets from their nose or mouth, which may contain virus. If you are too close, you can breathe in the droplets, including the COVID-19 virus if the person coughing has the disease. Brought to you by I-95.5 FM. Stay safe, save lives.
You're listening to Eye on Dependency with Garth and Natasha. Reality radio at its best.
Thank you for staying with us. This is Eye on Dependency, and due to our audio issues this afternoon, we're gonna go next. Instead of taking Edison Carr, we're gonna go next to Emmett Hennessey. That audio should be cleaner and better for you to hear. And then after Emmett, we're gonna show you the images that we got from Nallis. So apologies again. We will redo this broadcast either next week or the following week. So
we
that
want to
you
give
can,
you quality, right? You know,
yeah.
that's what we stand for, and justice as well. But again, we'd like to have a discussion with you. Reference this same thing, and I have, as I said, something to put on the table, that you all could follow it online or call in and give us your thoughts on what I will share with you after we go through the pictures. All right, so at least you'll get one today, who is Emmett Hennessey, as he tells his role. And you know, as I said, he was shot during this situation, and hear what he has to say.
And this interview was taken from a sit down he had with Werner Ramasa on IETV, and it's an excerpt of that interview. So and of course that interview was done in 2013, so it was before the Commission of Inquiry, and of course he gives his thoughts on the insurrectionists and the inquiry and his personal emotions and feelings about having gone through that experience.
I'm trying to remember, where were you on that day? You can share that with us too. Let's go to Emmett.
Let's talk about the 1990 coup attempt, because it's back in the news again, having now reopened in the form of a commission of inquiry.
Hallelujah.
Your feelings about that, you're very happy, obviously.
Unlike a few other people, which surprise me with their negativity, I am happy. I'm always happy. Like, that's why I'm here today. There's a whole new generation have come up, you know, who aren't even really aware. They're kind of half aware of it, you know. And I don't know how much awareness they should have, but it is a major historical aspect of TNT life. And people like me can set the record straight. There's still a lot of misinformation out there, even in the press and the media, you know. They call people hostages that weren't hostages. They called me a hostage last week. I wasn't a hostage, you know, and it's crucial that we get it right. So while I'm still alive, I'm happy to come on and set that record straight. Regarding the commission, as you asked me, yes, that's another way to set the record completely straight and to document it as well. And if anybody has any skeletons in their closet I would love them to come rattling out, because I'm kind of feeling very vindictive about the whole thing. I feel there wasn't enough justice done, any justice done, and even at this late stage, if I could see any kind of recrimination brought to the fore, it would ease my soul, which is still a troubled soul regarding that time.
And there are many stories that haven't been told, aren't there?
Absolutely there are. There are forgotten people. There was a man that I used to work at Radio Trinidad at that time, and every Wednesday, I believe it was, a gentleman used to come from the GBU, the Government Broadcasting Unit, nice little chubby fellow with a moustache, and he used to bring the government tapes for us to air, and how much more innocent and uninvolved could you be? The poor fellow's been dead for 20 years. He was shot on that day. Mervyn T was his name, May he rest in peace. But, that brought the reality home to me, because this was a face I saw every week and said hello to and chatted with, And his wife and kids now have been without him for 20 years. Very sad.
And yet it seems so many people in our nation are happy to think, well, we're healing from that, we're over it. But there's such a thing as healing badly, isn't there?
There is such a thing as healing badly, and maybe covering over a scar inefficiently, There's good, as you say, there's good healing and there's bad healing, and I think we're just cosmetically healing, and as I say, I think when we find out really who was involved maybe behind the scenes, or who knew what, then the scar could heal. There'll always be a scar, but it'll heal better. It may not bother anybody that was distant from it, but there's a good few hundred of us that were on a first-hand basis, and I think we deserve that kind of healing, still.
Do you think there are people who are walking the corridors of power now, or perhaps have in the past, that knew more than they've let on?
Well, this is what I intimated a while ago about the skeletons in the closet, You hear quotes about, that's I'm misquoting here, but something about that's just a quarrel between that government in power and the Muslimeen, and then there was the wake me up when it's over, and then there were people that should have been in Parliament that day and for no good reason weren't. These are the questions I would like to be pointedly asked at those people, and just see how well they can answer those questions.
Do you still find it painful to think about that time?
Absolutely. I can still cry at the drop of a hat.
Well, I'm hearing the emotion in your voice now, actually.
Okay, all right. I only hope I don't break down in this program. It wouldn't be the first time,
Yeah.
I sit at home with my wife, Alison, and not so much now, but for the first 10 years, there'd be lots of times when we'd be watching something on the TV, and it would evolve into somebody running. It could be a drama, not reality, but it might be Afghanistan, and you'd see the AK-47s banging away at somebody, and you're not expecting it, but it just comes flooding back. And it's like a tidal wave of emotion that just hits me. And I just start to cry, and Alison knows fine well, and we changed the station one time, So to answer your question, yes, it does. And when I was at the memorial service on the actual day, the 20th anniversary at the Red House by the flame there, we were all standing up because the trumpeter was playing something, the army trumpeter. And I thank God I had my shades on, but he played The Last Post. And that's a very poignant, very sad piece of music, as you know, this is The Last Post. And I'm a sentimental person at the best of times, and I just stood up there, and as those sad strains were wafting, thank God we were all facing front, so nobody was looking at me. But I could feel my mouth trembling, and I didn't make any noise, but I was bawling my eyes out for it. But I managed to control it, and it subsided before he'd finished, But so yes, it's something you can't control. It's a spontaneous knee-jerk reaction that just happens. So that's what tells me that I'm not cured, and probably never will be.
What is the main question? Is it why did it happen, or is it just the events themselves?
I guess
how people can treat other people.
I guess I approach it from a very personal point of view. I feel violated, quite honestly. Because I've never bothered anybody really in my life. I was just there doing my work on that day. And in the blink of an eye, it's not like if you're a soldier or a policeman and there's a conflict going on where you're out there and there's always a possibility of danger. I was just there as a relatively young married man doing a job that I loved, and within seconds I was running for my life, jumping over rooftops, doing athletic feats I never could repeat again, and not knowing the hell why. What the hell is happening to me, you know? Why is these men trying to kill me? So my anger, as I say, is on a personal basis. I feel that nobody had the right to do that to me. I did nothing to anybody. And so I have to selfishly say my vexation is very personal, you know. But I also feel very strongly that the then Prime Minister, Anna Robinson, hasn't had the kind of recognition that he well deserved. I was just thinking the other day about all the quotes in history, like in the French Revolution, when the Frenchman was going on the chopping block, "It is a far, far better thing now than I've ever done before." Another one said, "My only regret is that I only have one life to give for my country." Then there was an American admiral that said, "Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead." They've all been documented in the annals of history, and yet how many people really ever quote attack with full force? This elderly man was wounded, he was tortured, they told him to tell the troops to back off, otherwise, you know, that was the end of him. What kind of bravery does it take to say, in the face of that, attack with full force, you know? And I think that man is a true hero, and I think he was vilified to a certain extent, you know, on a political basis. I don't know what the problem with him was, but he was vilified and not nearly enough recognition. And I think he's a wondrous person, you know, Anna Robinson.
Well, looking at you, Emmett, I mean, you've made a life, whether here or abroad, out of bringing joy to people's lives. Entertainment, I mean, you're famous for your humor. You chose, at a certain point in your life, to settle in Trinidad and Tobago with Alison. I guess it must have been something of a tropical paradise for you at that time.
Yeah, it seemed that way, you know, before the realities set in. Right. Nothing's perfect, you know.
But when 1990 happened, did that change the way you view this country, the level of brutality that can be meted out by
I guess it did, yeah. I was disappointed in the fact that before this nation just retreated into their barracks and bemoaned what happened, they took it as an opportunity to get out there and fly in the face of the sadness of it and just loot, you know, opportunistic, you know. I guess this will happen in many countries, but I would have liked to have seen more of an outpouring of concern and sympathy for those of us wounded and for what was happening in the country. But no, the streets were just flooded with people saying, "Okay, this is my chance," you know. That disappointed me.
And of course, there were people who were at coup parties.
Well, yeah,
those days, which is a little insensitive as well.
But that probably evolved 2 or 3 days later. But yeah, that was, well, I don't know if that was insensitive. I think that was just a protective coat saying, well, it's happened, let's make the best of it, you know. It was in a controlled environment. They weren't hurting anybody. They were just trying to get some fun out of life in a very unfun era in our history, you know. But to get back to your question about how I feel, I guess it did change my perspective to a degree. Not so much that it turned me against Trinidad and Tobago. It just made me realize that nowhere is perfect, and life is never a constant. There'll always be something waiting around the corner that you have absolutely no control over, and it could happen at any time, you know. So it probably made me appreciate the old cliche, you know, that your life becomes more real and vibrant, and you don't take anything for granted anymore. You know, that's one aspect that you could maybe call a positive, you know. Yeah.
Do you think it was something of a turning point in terms of violence in this country as well? Because we've seen violence reach really alarming proportions now, and some people have said that may have started with the events of 1990, or become exacerbated, perhaps would be a better choice of word.
Well, you know something, getting back to one of my earlier points about there's been no real price to pay by the assailants, it may have made other young people of the same ilk realize, well, you know, I could pick up a gun and get out there. It's pretty easy to do, and they got away, and I'll get away too. And it could have put that mindset into the youth of the nation to a certain degree. Yeah, I think it is a contributory factor that they saw that violence is not that hard to perpetrate. You just get your gun, you get out there, and you do your thing, you know. It certainly has grown, as you say, exponentially. Whether or not that was just part of the growth of a nation, or to do with that, I can't say for sure, but it might be, you know.
No, obviously the events themselves were traumatic, but it seems to me that as you mentioned, people did not pay a price for what happened.
No.
And years afterwards, you see Yassin Abu Bakr on television, speaking to the media, things like that.
Yeah.
Does that stick in your craw a little bit?
Oh, well, absolutely. I mean, these are all the things that, I have a lot of pent-up anger. People have asked me if it changed me, my personality. And I have to say it did, because I noticed in my own self that I'm a lot more impatient. There's a certain bitterness in my personality. People, it's 20 years now, so that a lot of people I know say that I'm not a very friendly person and all that, and I appreciate that. It's true. Unless I know you very well, and I've always been a shy person even before, even though it may not seem that way, ironically, because of what I do. So consequently, I think it's affected my personality, and I try my best to overcome that, but it's...
Well, that was Mr. Emmett Hennessey, and let me say from offset that when I called for him at the radio station where he works now, he was not there. I left a message with my name and number, and surprise, surprise, he returned the call. So, I mean, he at least not as bad as he tried to make himself sound, because I don't think he's familiar with us, and he plays music for another side of town, so to speak. And but he was very gracious, and he guided us to the interview, and we thank Mr. Ramasa for sitting with him and getting
very interesting.
And this is not all; it's very interesting. And again, you can find it on IETV's
on YouTube.
On YouTube, you could get that there, and taking Mr. Ramasa and him at the full interview. And once again, we thank them for that. And before we go to the break, we let me just say that the pictures. Remember, we have some pictures to show you when we return. So the way we were was one of the pictures taken by several photographers, and again we thank the Nalis Library and Information System Authority for providing us with these pictures. And after that, I will have more time now to to take you all on a journey that may kind of open another department in your brain as far as 1990 concerned. That whole era from 80 to 90 was very interesting. Remember, I was discharged from the regiment in 1989. Think about that. And this happened in 1990. But something was going on in between then. And as we are wont to do in Trinidad and Tobago, we always look at the effect and not the cause. Now, I want to, Natasha and I have been discussing this all week. I've given my take on this. Of course, her view is different.
Very
but then,
different.
it'll be a boring world if all of us would agree on everything.
Correct.
And again, you all have not seen 1990 from my eyes and what I've experienced, and how 1990 affected me in 1982, in 83, 84, when I was first introduced to crack cocaine in the military. I'll tell you all about that. So we'll go to the break.
Yes.
And
when we come back, we will share with you some of the scanned images from that book, Trinidad on the Siege, which was provided by Nalis. Stay right there.
Right, and we have some birthday greetings and so on for you too, for the senior citizen and the family who's listening. All right, so we'll be back. Stay right there.
Eye on Dependency, where every life is a biography. On the Eye, 95.5, the most influential.
Ah, boy. Feel like going and buy myself a senorita tonight.
Nah. You know you might be promoting slavery.
Slavery? What are you talking about?
Hey, modern day slavery or human trafficking is just what some of these people just do. You know some of these women were tricked to come here? Some are held against their will, abused, and even beaten. Most times the girls don't even see any of the money that is paid for them. And every night, they just have to come out looking nice and sexy for somebody like you. Human trafficking is a serious problem and a serious crime. Persons who solicit commercial sex services may be contributing to human trafficking. A message from the Counter-Trafficking Unit of the Ministry of National Security.
Hola, my name is Elena. Well, it's actually not my real name. You don't really care, do you? All you care about is once you pay your money to my boss that I look pretty, smell nice, smile for you, and let you have good time, enjoying yourself and doing to me whatever you want to do for the money you paid. What you don't see or know is that I don't get any part of the money you paid. My boss takes all of it. I am forced to work, taking as many clients as my boss tells me to. I am beaten, made to take drugs, and I cannot leave this kind of work on my own. I am a victim of human trafficking. Please, por favor, help me.
Basic protective measures against the new coronavirus. Stay aware of the latest information on the COVID-19 outbreak. Most people who become infected experience mild illness and recover, but it can be more severe for others. Take care of your health and protect others by doing the following.
Protect yourself and others from getting sick. Wash your hands after coughing or sneezing. When caring for the sick, before, during, and after preparing food, before eating, after toilet use, when hands are visibly dirty, and after handling animals or animal waste.
Brought to you by I-95.5 FM. Stay safe, save lives.
Hi, I'm Danielle and you're listening to Eye on Dependency, where every life is a biography, Trinidad and Tobago. Don't traffic drugs, it's not worth it.
Thank you for staying with us. This is Eye on Dependency, and we are on part 3, a truncated and amended part 3 of our 1990 attempted coup series. Remember that we will rebroadcast all of the clips that we had, the interviews that we prepared for you at a later date. And again, we apologize for the truncated for the technical difficulties, yes, this week. And but that interview from Emmett was really interesting because it just highlights, well, at least for me, it highlights the trauma that all of the persons who were involved in it, who were held hostage, who were shot, who were injured, who suffered as a result of the actions taken by the insurrectionists. It still lingers on till today, and as you said earlier, Garth, none of these people have been compensated for their injury.
Yep, and there's another discussion. We'll compile all of them and we'll play them for you. But let's go to the images we have to share for you. For those who youngsters you listening to as well, and we know some of you have an online presence now more so than ever.
Yes.
So good evening to the St. James Police Youth Club. As usual, they have some youngsters down there listening, and Shortman, you could go to the images now so that we could take people through, or people can see what downtown Port of Spain looked like before and after that scenario. So there you have an aerial shot of Port of Spain, and when it comes up on your screen, you're going to see, Natasha will take you through the certain things you would see from the air. Standing very prominent are the towers downtown, the financial complex towers.
And Woodford Square in the middle there.
In downtown Port of Spain. And a shot of Woodford Square. This is an right, here we go. A story by Lennox Grant, The Way We Were. And what you have in a screen there now is a shot of Port of Spain. This is, calm, serene, well, at least from the air.
Before.
Looking Port of Spain, right? That was before.
Before. So that green space that you're looking at in the middle, that is Woodford Square, and of course behind it, the House of Parliament.
Yes. So that's what Port of Spain looked like before Friday, 27th July. And now the next photo that will come up are shots, as you say, taken by several photographers from the Express newspaper, covering the story that day.
The uprising.
The
So
uprising.
we see the photo at the top seems to be looters making good their escape with valuables from stores in Port of Spain, and that was a time. I mean, I don't recall quite well how many people were arrested or charged, if anybody, for those kinds of activities, the looting that took place in Port of Spain and the torching of buildings and businesses. And the photo below, that is from the police headquarters when that bomb exploded within its walls.
Yes. Folks, talking about looting, I heard somebody describe the virus as well, like that. Picture someone breaking into your home and then opening every part of the home and letting 100 people in. And imagine a store going through that. Imagine you're a security guard in a store working overnight and all of a sudden the front just come off and hundreds of people just rush in. Some people don't understand. I do condone, but I understand. And a lot of people will tell you why this happens. The experts will tell you why this happened. We are not experts on behavioral patterns of people, but especially when it comes to this. Muslimeen called on Robertson to resign. This was another headline in the New Express newspaper. And this is another shot of downtown Port of Spain before and after. I guess there's Queen Street before. What street is this? And you saw the vehicles as well.
Could be Frederick Street or Queen or
before
Prince.
or Frederick. Before and after this happened. No, the print is, and these images are. You can access these images, and the Express had an online commemorative magazine they did for 1990. I'm trying to get my hands on a copy of that. We're trying to get one so that we could see how much of the content that we can share with you. We had to call on our friends at NALIS and the Library and Information System Authority, and of course everybody sprung into action, and we got these images to share with you. Okay, go to the next image. Muslim, right, the state of emergency. That's another aerial shot, more caricature-like picture. Of course, Natasha will take you through that, what it is when it comes up on your screen.
It's a map basically of Port of Spain. And that state of emergency in this article, it says that it went up until October. Do you remember that? November.
Yeah.
I don't remember that being so, but I mean, I can't
Go to
get
the
the
next
Express
shot,
wrong.
short one.
It's a map of downtown Port of Spain, basically showing you where everything is, and the police officer you see at the top left, that's Leonard Taylor. He was the acting commissioner of police at the time.
Yes, because the substantive commissioner of police was out of the country at the time. So we go to K. Now you've heard of the peacemakers of all of this, and we still try to get Mr. Canonoli Clark to tell, because he was one of the peacemakers who actually braved their lives, took a chance and decided, look, they want to help bring this to an end. So himself, deceased Archbishop Anthony Pantin, and
Bishop Abdullah,
they all played their part to ensure that this was brought to, at least a peaceful and bloodless end. So they were considered the peacemakers, and
that again on a map of the Newtown area where TTT and Radio Trinidad were located. And we heard in the first episode when we spoke with Major General Ralph Brown about how they had really secured or attempted to secure that area around TTT, and the military really redeemed themselves, so to speak, with their quelling of this insurrection. They had the Red House surrounded, they had TTT surrounded, and they really made good on their role in terms of protecting the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago.
You have a photo of now police headquarters downtown after the detonation of the bomb from the car, and a picture of Bilal Abdullah, the infamous Bilal Abdullah, who they said he was in charge of the detail at the Red House. Yes. What became of David afterward, but this is a picture of what police headquarters look like, with charred vehicles in there. And of course, you know, that was one of the buildings that was targeted first, right? And we have a picture of the Prime Minister being set free after the negotiations came to an end. That's a picture of Ian Robinson leaving with some help. You know, it was a traumatic time for him.
Indeed, and we showed this picture before, but we were just made aware of who it was who's being led out of the Red House, and that is the former Prime Minister Ian Robinson being helped out to a waiting wheelchair from the Red House, and he was set free 4 days after the insurrection started on the 31st of July, which was my birthday, incidentally. Yes.
Right, so now we have some pictures of the Imam surrendering and taking that bus ride down to Chagaramas afterwards. And this all happened around Trinidad and Tobago television, of course, as you would know. So they have some pictures now of, you know, him and the men surrendering. And
he had some demands as well. He wanted all of the insurrectionists to keep their arms and some other demands that he had. But I think he was, as I mentioned earlier, surrounded, outnumbered, outgunned, and he really had nowhere to go. So he had to give up.
Yeah.
But he seems a little defiant in that photo on the bottom left.
Well, from what we were hearing is that, you know, after a while, waiting them out and, you know, keeping them suppressed. Of course, when you don't have trained soldiers who train for that, men gonna start to crack on you. And you're gonna hear in another interview, Jones P. Madeira, where he spoke about that. Because people will, as I said, if you don't go with trained soldiers to do something like that, who are accustomed to waiting out for days at a time, and even without food to eat, and trained to do that, these young, especially the ages that some of them were,
yes,
they will crack on you eventually.
And the fact that they had hostages.
Switch, short man. Yeah.
So, you know, that brought a different dimension to the whole thing. And to me, that was one of the pivotal sort of factors that led to his surrender, because you cannot... he would not have been able to account for the lives of the persons who were held hostage.
Right, and there's another photo coming up with Special Forces paying special attention to the Imam, and of course they had to do the frisking and all of that when he came out. You know, that's again must thank the Trinidad and Tobago Regiment for the work that they did this time in quelling and, you know, if you will call it an uprising, if you will, in Trinidad and Tobago, an attempted coup. When you want to come up against a regiment, as small as it is, they will always have that edge, you know. Correct. And unfortunately, that is where they fell short. And fortunately, fortunately, no, I mean fortunately for the hostages and all of that, we had a regiment as one we have now that could have brought that to an end. But when you're going into this with young men, you need hardcore soldiers to do this with. You can't do this with men who barely weak.
With teenagers as well. And
when the tea time reach, they want the tea and all that. You can't afford to have that. Forget that. So that next photo will be Port of Spain and visited. Or there's a picture of police headquarters on fire. That's a side shot of St. Vincent Street. That would be St. Vincent Street side. That's what police headquarters look like after the detonation.
Yes, and I mean this was clearly a well-planned, not necessarily well-executed attempt to take over the country.
Well, they had some parts right.
They got some things right, but in the end, what was it all for? And I think that is the gist of what you plan to talk about now.
Yes.
What was it all about, and what was it intended to achieve?
Birthday greetings to Lucita Lafourcade. She's 100 years today, and 100 years and 13 days. Be the death for Lucita.
Yes.
From her loving children, Barbara, Gloria,
hold on.
Patsy, Hyacinth, Annie, and Edward. That's she's 100 years and 13 days today. Birthday greetings also to Akila Cooper from her dad, Steve, mother, Margaret, sister, Stacy, and her loving daughter, Ariana Cooper. And folks, this people I'm speaking about here is, you heard me spoke about them some years, was last year. The Rest Haven Senior Citizen Home, North Trace in New Grant.
Yes.
Very, very nice place. Very loving, caring people. It's one of the very few homes that have been running on a clean record. And when I say clean record, I mean no reports of abuse of family or elderly. And very good. My mom was there before she passed. As a matter of fact, she passed right there. So good evening to the Coopers in New Grant, and anytime you want to have your senior citizens go for a nice resting place, well, let them visit. You can visit the North Trace, the Rest Haven, and the number you can call them to. Give them a call, 326-5557. That's 326-5557. Anybody can tell me where Junior Chedi is? We're trying to find Junior Chedi. I don't know where Junior Chedi is, and we've been trying to look
from him.
Somebody who knows where Junior Chedi is, please let us. All right, folks, I wanna take this to another direction, and those of you who are listening, feel free to not agree with me, but there's a saying, who feels it knows it, and sometimes we have to look at something, just flip the coin a bit and see if we can understand something. I know some people, most of you may not agree, but let me try. Now, let's look at the mass distribution of cocaine in Trinidad and Tobago. And I was telling Natasha, as we are want to do in Trinidad and Tobago here, we investigated the Jamat, which is, of course, the best way to do it. In some other countries, they would not have been alive to even be listening to this broadcast. But it went the way it did here, right? Okay. Now, as I said, there's cause and effect. We investigated them, but there are certain key things. If nothing else, I remember the Imam said, one of the key things is what they heard from a deceased police officer. Now, most of these people gone already, so it's not to say we could affect anybody's life now, but I should talk about it now because it affected me, and I will tell you all why. The reason and the Imam and the Jamat did already. Now, remember there was a thing about Bernadette John. James, and what she saw, right? Government and protective service officials, what she saw and what they were doing with cocaine. Now, understand this, people. I was on the street from 89. That was when I was in the middle, and you can say in the third gear of cocaine use. That the streets. And the Imam, and they did something back then that it had me starting to put even more dots together. Now, I don't know if you all remember the Jamat and the soldiers from the Jamat, if you describe them as that, or the Muslim brothers, the followers, they raided cocaine blocks back in the day. Now, I was on the streets, as I said, at the time. Remember, I was discharged in 1989 for drug use. Did anyone investigate what, at least that part of the story that came from the police officer to the Imam, and then all of that, maybe what fell in the basket, and he decided, well, no, he can't take it no more. Somebody said the Statue of Jean Man was the last straw. But I remember going to blocks to buy my cocaine. Landsmeeton was my favorite area. And Cocorite. And sometimes it reached there and you would hear, boy, the Jamaat just passed here, boy. Because the Jamaat used to raid cocaine blocks. Because, I don't know if it's because of the information that they got. But the Jamaat used to raid cocaine blocks, take away their cocaine and destroy it. So I buy it, so I sell it. If anybody know otherwise, please tell me. But what I'm saying is that the Jamaat al-Muslimeen, and there are people who listening may remember, they raided cocaine blocks and had men busy. And you want to give them trouble, they give you some serious body music and take your cocaine and throw it away. All that time I was rushed. I'm hunting for cocaine on the streets. And unfortunately I never ran into any of them while on a block buying cocaine. But was the killing of Bernadette, did anyone investigate? If so, what were the findings of the officials that Bernadette saw in the airport doing this cocaine transaction? People who are supposed to watch our backs as citizens were in that room. No.
Pause. Can I ask a question based on what you just said about the Jamaat raiding the blocks?
Mm-hmm.
What was their position on the users like yourself?
I don't know. I don't know what they were the position on the users. I know they were against cocaine. And they were destroying the cocaine. Right? And again, did anybody investigate what Bernadette said? Was her death an accident? Or was it intentional? We will never know. Because as we are wont again to do in Trinidad and Tobago, we bury our secrets. There are a lot of dark areas that our history will never be properly written. Let's be honest with ourselves. Our history will never be properly written. So in case, let's say somebody wants to do a movie in 1970, that's a director's dream because now they get parts that they could fill to their own imagination. Same thing with 1990. We will never get to know the entire story because there will always be dark areas just like some of the streets in our country. Dark. I don't know why darkness attracts us so much, but this is part of our psyche, it seems. No. Crack cocaine literally invaded Trinidad and Tobago. Now, people remember there was a spillover from the 60s into the 70s. Well, listen to me carefully. No, follow me here. No, please, follow me.
Right.
If those of you who remember back in the day and the youngsters listening now, you get a chance to learn something. Listen to me carefully, people. There was a spillover from the 60s into the 70s, a sort of black consciousness, if you will. Remember that? Every block, and I'm from San Fernando, Coquille Village to be exact, well, between Coquille, St. Joseph, Les Afores, I live in these three areas. From San Fernando to Port of Spain, from Grandi to Abipojad Street in Carnage. These blocks, if you all could remember, the Rastafarian movement and the Black Power movement sort of combined. And on these blocks had arts and craft booths, fruits and vegetables,
Ital food.
Ital. The first time I ate Ital was on the block in Coquille, down in the meadow by me. Simpson Mount Terrace area.
There was sporting activities.
You name it.
Activities.
Culture was on top of the list. I was a member of Arawak's dance company. So it was fruits, yaba included, and of course, lots of ganja. That is the drug. Apart from those who used to consume the LSD and the MX since back then. But marijuana was the predominant drug. No cocaine. Only follow me here. Listen to me, please. Is it any coincidence that a soldier introduced crack cocaine to the military? Was he in cahoots with anyone before or who that the Imam saw? I'm just asking a question. We'll never know because he's deceased as well. But I remember retired Brigadier John Sandy, when he was cutting the ribbon to start the pilot project of the drug treatment court, I was in the audience. He said that a soldier was one of the things that bothered him as a serving member of the regiment is that a soldier introduced crack cocaine to the force. I was one of them who got from it. And so many other sailors and soldiers like yours truly. Now, was he in cahoots? We will never know. Because there was a mass exodus of sailors and soldiers from the force. Was the Jamaat onto something then and we failed to investigate that? As I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, I will never ever condone holding hostage government officials, anybody for that matter, right? Because I know what bullet could do to people, and that is not a game to play. But anytime you decide to enter that zone, is like playing Jumanji. You know nothing good is going to come out of that. But the Jamaat decide that is one of the things that they spoke about. Did anybody investigate that? Let me ask the question. Because there are so many people became victim to crack cocaine in the defense force that we just watch talented men fall by the wayside. Grantley Maxwell, Burt Neptune, Fredericks, better known as Japa, Lovelace from Coast Guard, and yours truly, and so many others fell victim to crack cocaine. Now this is what taking me off, because we never really got redress, and I was pissed. I'm still pissed at them. I forgive them for how they treated us, because they kicked all of us to the curb, who they found with cocaine in our system, but never tried to find out how it got there, why it got there, and how they could have prevented us from falling by the wayside. They lose really good men in the force. You all will be shocked to know how much. But listen to me carefully again. Follow me here. Now, as our Commissioner of Police love to say, you cannot be half pregnant. Is that we hate cocaine or we don't love cocaine? Right? Follow me, folks. Every village, community could tell you about talented sons and daughters who were felled by crack cocaine. Stay with me. Sportsmen, musicians, tradesmen, etc., etc. Everybody could tell you, boy, he was a good this, she was a good that, she was a real good dancer, he was a real good basketball player. How many of you in your community sitting listening to this radio podcast this evening could say in your community if one person got destroyed by cocaine and that was not bothering anyone? Let's be frank. We just look at people as drug addicts. Thank God I could make it back out of that war, because it was not an easy war to fight. People tend to think, well, you could just stop using cocaine just like that, and it's not so easy. And I pray for the people who still fighting it out there, especially with the rubbish that they're selling now. But listen to me carefully. In these areas I mentioned earlier, they slowly turned into the community focus, and it had these listen to me, all these communities, they had blockos, community center activities, best village galore, more than it is now. To now fighting to stay alive, while the elder leaders started getting hooked on crack, 2 at a time. So now listen to me. When I leave Carnage, the base defense force headquarters, here where I could have gotten crack cocaine. I could stop over at Abbey Pojad, Hague Street, Helyard, School Street, Lansmeaton, Point Kumana. For some strange reason, after Point Kumana, and you reach Glencoe, La Hoquette around there, you can't get no crack cocaine. I don't know where, nowhere inside there, that area, till I reach Cocorite, where I could get crack cocaine. Right? Okay. So, is either you turn left and go Digo Martin, or go straight to Cocorite. So you turn left to Digo Martin, Covine, La Puerta, Patna, Diamondville Industrial Estate, River Estate, Simeon Road. You could get cocaine galore anywhere. I know, I was on the street. And sometimes one cocaine block don't have because the Jamaat clean them out or the police clean them out. I have to go to our next block. And sometimes walk too. Then you could go Cocorite, Waterhole, Bonds Road, all the way up the East-West corridor. Cocaine galore. Skipping and missing some areas for some reason.
For obvious reasons.
I from Coquier Village. On my side of Coquier, Simsmong Terrace, cocaine end up there. All the Rasta boots and everybody, all the fruits, everything just started. You just see people just start to disappear, vanish into thin air. Brothers, families. And where I grew up in Coquier, every house had 4 children or 5 children. 3, 4, 5 children. Right? And the Thompson and the Williams and the Jacksons and you name it. the Sandys. Till my brother, as a matter of fact, 3 brothers from Best Street gone. 4 brothers from Best Street alone in cocaine. Then 2 from where I from, crack cocaine. St. Andrews Avenue, St. Madeleine, Princestown, La Romaine, Roy Joseph Scheme, Pleasantville, Mbacadere, Mount Moriah, The Wharf in Marbella, Rosswood Street, Blitz Village, cocaine galore. How that happen? Anybody could explain to me how all these villages and communities that were once love and peace and when I go back cocaine now it looks like a ghost town because people afraid they're locking up their doors. There's no longer this community life. Why? Because crack cocaine got into there. Here many places I called. The Jamaat was trying their best on their side to stop that because there's no other things. Listen, it have other things, ladies and gentlemen, that you all wouldn't know that we wouldn't know, that certain people in this society would know. And sometimes they listen people talk on radio and say, yeah, if them only know. Yeah. Because there are a lot of dark areas.
Yes.
And these communities that I've called out here, people, and I'm sure there are more, could tell you how many young, talented black brothers and sisters fell to this crack cocaine. I saw it on the street. I saw a video the other night where 2 men abusing a woman. I even showed Natasha that on Library Corner about 3 some morning. Somebody posted that. Boy, listen to me. You're all so wicked to do that sister that because she on crack, of course. And if you see the lewd acts being performed right in the middle of Library Corner, thank God everybody was asleep then. So I ask the question again, folks. All these areas where had one love, Rastafari, arts and craft, you could get any kind of sandal, any make African clothes, you name it. The community started to build and the African community started to gel. And then somebody decided to spread crack cocaine in them and mash them up. Till this day we can't catch ourselves. That is what I wanted to throw in there. So you all could understand, I don't condone what Abu Bakr and they did, by no means. Because plenty of my batch could have gotten killed too in that. But did we ever investigate, or was there ever any investigation done on what they said they saw, the policewoman saw, and ran to them for help, and then mysteriously within a week after that, she died? Natasha, before you ask the question, I want to tell you something. I don't condone what they do. You know, there's an individual who have been tormenting our lives for the last 18 years. Right?
Yes.
Emotionally, tormenting.
Yes.
Right? Till we don't know even we can't put our hands on what it is we did, but the individual continue to emotionally stress us out and torment us and all this kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Now, if I decide to take matters into my own hands, people will say, who you think they'll blame? They won't ask what it is he didn't know. They will say, God, you should know better than that. That's not the way to handle things. But people don't understand. Sometimes when you break because somebody persecuting you and lying on you and doing all these things for no absolute reason, we never done him nothing. It's just pure hate coming from this individual. And so many people are wrong him. For us. Sometimes you can be pushed over the years to respond, but just that I learned that that's not the way to respond. So I'm not, but this is why I don't condone what Abu Bakr and they did. But when people have a cause and you push them enough, understand that these big men with wives and children went into this situation knowing that they could have died if it had gone the way the forces wanted it to go. You think they didn't prepare for that? It takes a certain level of belly to do that too. There are causes people fight around the world. They were wrong for doing it the way they did, but then probably didn't see any other way. But this cocaine that was allowed to fester in my country, in my communities, and destroy every community that was raising young, strong men and had blocks peaceful and nice, all of a sudden, cocaine replaced the ganja and turned everything upside down.
God, I want to challenge you on that assertion that you're making, that connection that you're making. I don't disagree with anything you've said in terms of what the introduction of crack cocaine has done to Trinidad and Tobago, how it has destroyed families and communities and individuals. I am not convinced that the issue of politicians being involved in drug running, etc., was at the top of the list for the Jamaat when they decided to do what they did. I don't think so. Of all, maybe they had a list of 5 or 6 things, that would have been number 6.
Okay.
So I can't buy into that argument that it was a motivating factor for their actions.
I didn't say that alone, eh?
And okay, well, I don't think it was at the top of the list. Let me just say that. Further to that, if they were seeking justice for the families and communities that were being destroyed by drugs, being run by politicians allegedly, the fact of the matter is, as you rightfully say, no one has been held accountable for those actions. I guess the politicians who were hurt and some who died in the Red House that day, were they responsible for those actions that they were being accused of? Were those the ones that were responsible? We'll never know because it was never investigated, right? But there has been no justice done, not for the people who were supposedly in cahoots with drug lords, etc., to bring the cocaine in and to distribute it. There has been no justice done for the people who were taken hostage, the people who were shot. There's been no justice done for the insurrectionists that held our country to ransom. So we back to square one, literally. Nobody has paid for the actions that have been either done to them or they perpetrated on others.
Okay. And again, what about the accusations that were made? And an officer who was allegedly that was killed because of what she saw.
Yes.
Again, these are the people who will get cocaine distributed faster in our country rather than me buying it, right?
Yeah.
And distributing it.
Well, it's obvious that the police were in cahoots.
They were there to protect us.
Yes.
And yet, they allowed cocaine to even reach the defense force.
Correct.
And
that's how these things work.
Nobody to this day, I'm asking, did anybody investigate that? No, I'm sure not.
Police not going to investigate it because obviously people at a very high level were involved or aware of what was happening.
Good. So what I'm saying is that we know and their families now have to pay for a son being addicted to crack cocaine, and the parent had to deal with this to this day.
Yeah.
And that was done by people who enjoying a good life, or their children have enough money to take care of them and their grandchildren and 2 generations down the road because of this nasty drug. And remember, there were people who too were very high on the scale of distribution.
Yes.
And some of them are dead now. There's one more remaining. I hope I can get an interview him before he dies, because he is one that, when you heard about Naya and Mice and all of these other folks, the Budram Burras and all of these people, this cocaine, and again, I don't know if people get the picture I'm trying to paint, it destroyed certain communities. Let me just say certain. There are certain communities where alcohol is their nemesis, let me just say.
Mm-hmm.
But was crack cocaine really targeted for my community, that every drug, every community, every block, anybody listening to this broadcast could tell you the love it had from one side to the next. One St. Andrews Avenue and Coquille Village, we could have gone across there and play small goal, and you could have got a girlfriend on the next side of Coquille. No, you can't. You could hardly do that now. They're borderline now, and only because crack cocaine came and changed the whole dynamic
and again
of life in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes, and it's all about money at the end of the day. No, because this is it's not just Trinidad and Tobago. This has happened all over the world where crack cocaine is introduced, and because it is a very addictive drug, you introduce it to people who want to be in thing and want to try it and get hooked and sell out their livelihoods behind this drug, become addicted, and the end result is to make money while destroying a community. The end of the day is capitalism taking over the world, and cocaine is the product that they're selling.
Folks, we can take your call now.
Yes.
Tell us what you think. I know what cocaine did to members of the Trinidad and Tobago, some members of the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force. And you could send your messages to the Facebook page. Is this our... Yeah, to our Facebook page.
There are a couple of... let me read some of the comments.
So you can call 622-39372 if you want to leave your contribution.
Leon says, interesting thoughts, bro. Cliff Thomas says, good evening, Garth and Natasha. My brother was the best recruit in the Coast Guard and got hooked at Stobblesby.
Okay.
And Brian says, pleasant night. At around 1989, a weekly newspaper reported at that time that the Jamaat was raiding blocks and destroying narcotics.
There you go. 89 was when I got discharged. So I as I said, I was on the street them time. So I knew that, you know. It's really unfortunate, again, that crack cocaine was allowed to get into our communities and destroy them one by one. Good evening. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, guys. Good evening, Natasha.
Good evening, man.
God, let me say, a lot of things, a lot of people don't do. I used to work in the airline affair. In the cargo and customs, they are connected. Right? And when cocaine started coming to our body, Naya, I could call it, Naya and a friend called Chief, both from Mexico, in that area there, came to collect a shipment of apples plus other things in the apples. I tell you that because after they cleared the apples without a whole other examination from a DC6 full of apples, there were 3 trucks came to collect those apples. I remember that Friday evening. It was a strange time for a freighter to come to Trinidad. But whatever happened, it had to come. The custom officer, who I wouldn't call his name at the time, came outside, saw the Chief and Naya. Right in front of the cargo area there, where we had in Panama, they stepped the cargo area there. They came there, and they saw 400 of us. We didn't know what was going on in time, but as the custom officer, he in charge, and large, he cost everybody and things. But he was after that everybody liked because of how he was operating. And they cleared those apples. Every box went on that box. Had a mark on it. When they came out the yard from customs, onto the Golden Grove Road, swinging east from inside the custom yard, 2 boxes of apples. The speedy truck come out with the truck. 2 boxes of apples, sail out and go in the canal. They stop the truck, and Naya jump out. And they look at me, they leave that is not one. They leave the 2 boxes of apples in the canal there. We end up getting apples from that. And they leave us all. So long after we get to know that cocaine came in those apples, then we know the apple, Naya had the fruit king.
Correct, thank you, yeah, that's right, Manu.
So listen, Boros himself came to the yard. Whatever the happened is, Naya put all the drugs in his car trunk. Boros came and sit down on Naya car trunk and tell him to search the place. Who could tell Boros to come up with a car trunk? And it was said that they were family. It was said that they were family. So, cocaine coming to Trinidad from the top man has known what was going on. Boros had a friend, used to come to the airport. Every time she comes to the airport, Boros comes straight into the custom office and sit down right there. as Commissioner of Police.
Okay.
And nobody asked him anything, but the Commissioner of Police come to the OC go there and sit down there. When the lady come out the plane and contest the past immigration, he comes into the custom office and goes and the fella talk whether if he didn't know she had whatever the case is. They both don't leave and they walk out. So the commissioner was always in charge, let me tell you. Always know what's going on with this smoking up here.
All right, Manu, thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bianca says that one of the reasons suggested for the attempt coup was the landing. Yeah, that was one of the reasons too.
Yes, which they got compensated for though. Didn't they? They got it back, right?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Dr. Natasha.
Good evening.
Well, it seems like you grew up in the same area with me.
Where is
I
that?
grew up in Cookie, I think I was
Yeah. My mom was in Jean Street.
Oh, okay, because I was born in Pensacola Hospital, grew up on Naparima Mayara Road, and then we moved from there. It was 3 years, and we moved to Curep.
Okay.
From Curep to Labor Mountain.
So you know how San Fernando and Cookie was them time.
Well, I was small, so now I hear you talking. I hear you call Arawaks, and we used to come down. I was a member of Eugene Joseph Dance Company. We used to come down in, what do you call it? Naparima
Bowl.
When they have in the Marsh Gras. You know, we used to do a joint thing with Arawaks, all the dance company.
Yeah, I remember.
So you were a member of Arawaks?
Yeah, I play drums with Arawaks.
Oh my God, well then I might have heard you.
If you check my profile picture on Facebook, you'll see the costume that I'm playing a drum. That was for Arawaks. No, that was the Best Village. Yeah.
This is good. Oh my God, that is history anyway. God, I mean, when you say what you said just now, it brings back to what I read with what they did with the. I never knew there was a Black Wall Street.
Yeah.
So based on what you said about the cocaine coming and destroy all the
systematically
slippers and things, lick up what was going on in the Southland, other areas.
Yep.
Because the cocaine came in and take over everything. But God, I want to ask you something. When you you said you were dismissed from the service in 89. Was Brigadier Sandy there? He would have been in a senior position, right? Now, what I want to find out, you call out all these different drug blocks. If they had asked, I don't know if these police here do it, but in America, you always, I have to say, watching television, they always ask you, who is your source? Would you have given who your source was at that time?
No, because you used to kill the same way there too.
All right, yeah, because in the army, they said they never invested. I'm just going to ask you that. They said, you said they came into the army, and I would have thought a responsible, whoever was in charge of the regiment at that time, find out, where this thing, how it coming. Well, you said it was some soldier brought it in.
Here's my problem,
But it must have a source.
Here's my problem, The people who, and this is in print, where the Jamaat spoke, the Imam spoke about, what the police officer saw, right?
Yeah,
the deceased police officer, right? Now, to think that special branch, would have gotten on this main case after that, and don't care who it is, take them off the river. But no, I don't think anything was done, and left us vulnerable here. As I said, were there any connection between the soldier who brought it in, who Brigadier Sandy revealed? I told people about that, but Sandy eventually said, right? They knew, exactly. So did anybody investigate him and the officer who was in the airport at the time? I don't know. Who knows?
God, we don't investigate. Look at this. When we ever spent an example of what went on in Bayside Tower.
Correct.
We won't investigate anything according to who has done it.
Correct.
So that is why the beat goes on. Because from that situation with what went on in the airport and Donald James, and nobody investigated that? Come on. Listen, boy, I don't know now. It's a mess, but you're right. They might have killed you. So you came out and look, you bounce back. So God is good.
All the time.
Have a good night, God.
You too. So unfortunate. Good evening.
Good evening, guys.
Good evening.
So I'm here with the transfer having a program. Now I want to make 2 points. At the point in the same direction. You are president. Ask the question, where were you on that peaceful day? I was in a place called Eliad on Nelson Street. Right? I was in a house. And now got a shot, and I've come outside throwing out on a bleach. There was no area. And when I hear noise down the road, I go, wow, what is going on here? Just to realize what was taking place. What comes to mind, there was a man who was so privy to what was taking place. He was walking together and saying, there is an Islamic wind blowing through the land. I didn't understand what the man was saying until after the Islamic wind. Okay? Now, since we come to know after that there are government or there were government officials who were privy to something in the making, and it didn't take place. That's really quite escalated the way it is. First high point. Coming down to cocaine. Okay? And where we reach now. Remember, it wasn't cocaine back then, right? It's cocaine insurrection. I come to learn that Commissioner of Police back then was also deeply involved in the underworld. Man, mentioned just now. That's a fact. Okay? So, talking about dark holes, Commissioner of Police introduced subversive activities, at least for the same. That is a fact. So, I mean, it's hard, very hard to be able to question this word dissect. Now, where we are, where we came from, right? And so today, as we speak on this program, there are high-ranking people within the land who are very much responsible for what is taking place in the underworld. Very much responsible for people's lives, young people's lives going down the drain.
What is it?
Okay? And still, the other hand, want to prosecute.
All right.
So, it is like these 2 points that point in the same direction, meaning that there are people in high-ranking positions who are very much involved in what is taking place in the degradation of our society.
All right, son. Thank you very much.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, but again, when this program started, unfortunately, it's because they are the victims that I saw, and I know what was coming down the pipe. And because of that, our independency started 19 plus years ago. I just wanted to keep you all educated, and now we look out for the victims. There are people that take care of the high ranking and the high rankers, or I should say there are units in our country from law enforcement come right down to deal with them. We deal with the casualties, because I don't know any of these people. They remain just like the virus, faceless. It's a faceless enemy that responsible for taking down and took down a lot of. Again, I asked in your community how many talented sons and daughters you would have seen crack cocaine destroyed and other drugs, alcohol included. 622-3937. Good evening. Hello, good evening.
God, you have added a new dimension to this whole drug trade, which is very interesting. And I'll also add that it was bent on curbing the revolutionary movements of 1970. It's very interesting to hear your invention, and it's something that we need to investigate and bring some clarity to.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. I know that a lot of people wouldn't agree with me, but it put a lot of my colleagues' life in danger too, because they had to go out there and quell the attempted coup. But again, we investigated the end result, but did we ever investigate what was said and what was revealed? I don't think if there was, then please let me know the findings. 622-3937. Good evening. Hello. Good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, good night, man. I'll talk with you right now.
Say again?
I just love the topic you're talking about right now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, just wait to continue on it.
All right.
You know, just give us your feedback about it.
Okay, will do. Thanks a lot. Thanks for joining us. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, God. Good night to you.
Good evening. Yes, good evening.
Yeah, God. You're bring here tonight. As an ex-serviceman, you bring here tonight. And the cocaine came here because they wanted to destroy the black people in Trinidad, because in them days, like you say, the Rastafari, the ITAL, the block, the women, with the Marad still running up and down the highway.
Yes.
And small in Europe used to sell out bread and beef and them kind of thing. After ASL football, you had to go there and buy a thing to carry home for your family because
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the effort there and then, it destroyed the tradesmen. The police, a lot of firemen, soldiers, the military, they rock the country. You understand me? So we have to live with that. One of the things I have to say is this: I still vex with Major Brown. As a serviceman, then my mother and my sister cried on Friday night and said me, get them what they want, don't want to play hero. And I tell them, I swear to defend my country. The morning when they load that coal gas bus, instead of go up that bus to the Kakarama, and the one that door was broken now, it wouldn't happen.
Correct.
Because there was a split between Baka and the boy, who went up Labantil, who stayed down in Mukarapo, who went Karapo, who went all about. And the end result is to the T-O-D-A-Y. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I agree with you on that one, sir. Clyde Weatherhead says, got the Scott drug report. Linked the COP with drugs coming in through Cali Bay involving a boat called Natasha, unfortunately. He was also in court in Couva with two brothers from El Socorro. Interestingly, the Scott drug report was being debated with corruption links on that fateful day.
Yeah. And I have copied the drug report and I think we should probably share some
dive into it again, yes.
Yeah. Hello. Good evening.
Good evening, guys. We had a good brother. They call Aunt Mood in QF and Southern Menu.
Yes, somebody just spoke about him.
Nice, good business, bread and beef, bread and bacon, beef and cat and things. For me, time cooking, come in, lick him up completely, wipe him out, and I never even tell him again.
Yeah, cocaine destroyed ants.
You gotta come from, when you come from theater, you come from any place, every whole crowd, but whoever you wanted to see, you see them by Aunt Mood.
Correct, boy.
Bread, I think I took $5 or something like that. And you're getting the best bacon beef, the best bacon shop, everything by Aunt Mood.
I remember.
Come in, he just went out of business.
That was one of my stops with. Yeah.
And wasn't Kirab one of the hubs for distribution of cocaine as well?
Yeah, I mean,
that's what it turned into.
Kirab was a bright junction, you know. When a small setup, so it's only punch and you name it out, everything you want.
Lining up.
Yeah, and you see light up and then and small started using cocaine and that was it. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Hello, good evening, Garth and Natasha.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, thanks for the program and so on. Garth, you see how you saw that female, a woman being brutalized in San Fernando?
Yes.
Remind of a beautiful lecture by my lecturer Darius
Figuera,
sorry. When he spoke about the drugs and so on, and the hierarchy of the drugs, and certain ethnic groups control it. They could put up mansion, they could live the high and mighty life. And the African people are like the slaves to it, the consumers of it, to be used and abused. and treat it as nothing. That is how the thing has been arranged. Understand? You drive around and see, go down south and all over, who have all the mansions and what have you, and who is the ones doggy, looking for a bone and distressing people, and they live in the high and mighty life, boy. I know it will not go unnoticed by God, and all of them who perpetrating that kind of evil on certain groups. Understand? Can't go unnoticed.
Thank you.
He had his finger on the pulse. You know? So
yes, my dear.
guys.
You're welcome. Okay. Thanks a lot. I know people what I saw there. And that picture of a woman on her knees giving someone a blowjob in the middle of library corner that early morning, somebody's daughter. And to the guys who filmed that, I hope somebody will send you a video of, if without wishing, with your sister or your mom doing the same thing, because your heart nasty, boy. Your heart's not clean at all. To stand, you know the woman on drugs. We know she's on drugs. Okay, fine. But for $20, you had this woman doing all kind of dastardly things out in the open. The last thing the video stopped was where she bent over and hold on to a railing.
Oh my God.
You know, and they telling the man, come quick, look, she over here, come quick. They're doing that to her sister who hooked on cocaine. She drinking beer rum, smoking a cigarette, and she going on this man for $20. That is what happens out there, people. And people think, well, why did they just stop? It wasn't designed for that. Why did some of you don't stop drinking Coca-Cola or rum? Think about it, or gambling. It wasn't designed for you to stop. Good evening. Good evening.
Hey, good afternoon, God.
Good evening.
Good afternoon, Natasha Toronto here.
Good evening.
You described that thing there with that lady is Safrado. You know, it's really, really sad. I don't want to see it. But just you describe it there, it gives me a whole idea. You know what you talk about. I don't want to watch that video because those guys who do that is sick. And if you listen to like young men who you do that, they're sick, man. Or they need to go somewhere in one island by yourself because I can't do something like that. Or who are that? Or drugs or something, man. Come on, man. That's sick. I know another thing. This cocaine thing. You spoke about last meter. Some years ago, my friend and I, we were going, we live up in that area. And he was showing me a certain drugs, man. He said, see that fella there? Call out his name and hear him out. See that fella there? He's the sheriff for that area in last meter. I don't want to call the person name because I don't know if he's alive or whatever still. Right? But however, another thing again, go to the park. A lady told me a house where she was working. And she see that house up there? The house have lots of drugs. So when you see this thing is deep. And it destroyed. I know men from the army and from the police and the Coast Guard get destroyed by this thing. It's not a nice thing. And who's ever bringing these things in the country to damage the black youths? One day, all the money you guys all have, and all take all the rich, and all live all the mighty, and all the expensive cars, and all take all the send all Toronto, all the expensive school, and when all think they have all the money and luxury, all gonna pay for that, you know. Because they destroy a lot of young men and young women trying to beg with these drugs, all bringing in and destroying the youths. All the government want to put those drugs into the black youths. Who some of the people who people in TNTech, Wassa, who got on drugs, and this is what Man, anyhow, I love to listen.
All right, okay, Tom.
right.
So thanks very much, brother.
Again.
Thanks for that. Benel, thank you. This program series is very important, has brought out facts that weren't revealed at the inquiry. I mentioned some aspects in my earlier post this evening that you may have unfortunately missed. Take a look again, thank you. And I wanted to ask anybody on Dependency to go to that comment from Benel. It's very interesting. It's a long post, but he made some very interesting points in that. And Ben, just keep on contributing to the program. God, I saw the pictured library corner. It broke my heart. It was abuse. I thought someone would have questioned the persons involved. No, you see.
I wonder if the police investigating that.
Investigate what? You see, we look at crack addicts as nothing, nobody, and they don't see that as abuse of a woman. That men, and I'm sure they were African men too, doing a sister that out in the open. But talk to your children. This is what drug use is all about. And this type of drugs, it hold on to an individual who it could turn inside out, it will. Thank God I survived that and have no intention of going back to that. Nobody will make me go back to that. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to Dependency. We want to thank you very much once again for joining us and having patience with us this evening.
Yes.
We fell short. We have to apologize, but we promise we'll make up for it next week Sunday, God's willing.
Yes.
And in the meantime, please, you know what to do. Follow the rules.
Be safe.
Dr. Rowley, congratulations. Don't afraid nobody. Do what you have to do. And to the officers out there, be careful. You know, people trying to put you all in place, because when they behave bad, you'll have to go and deal with them. And
But oh God, don't for God's sake fine homeless people for not wearing their mask.
yeah, that's,
For God's sake, I mean, come on.
Yeah, that is not cool. But it happened in San Fernando, they said, and I guess that would be taken care of, because the homeless don't have money to pay $1,000. Right? So, God bless you all, folks. Please be safe. Thank you again for joining us, and we'll be here again, God's willing, next Sunday with another edition of
High on Dependency.
You want to get a repeat of this program? Just go to our Dependency Facebook page, and you'll find it. Anglican Horn up next.
Good night.
Good night.
This is reality radio at its best. I on Dependency on I-95.5 FM.
This is I-95.5 FM, TNT's most influential name in radio.